Islam, Princeanaelbey, Divine Prince of the Divine Theocracy of the Moorish Science Temple of America through Temple Alhambra. This message and lesson is for my daughters. This message is for you, little princess. Because it is best that you have more than a trifle understanding of some things where this world is concerned. Learning you should be primary among them. I'm going to give to you some basic knowledge. I am your prince, and my job is to remove all obstacles and encumbrances from your path on your way to your throne. That is my job. Your job is to learn from me. You see, princess, the word prince comes from the term principal thinker. That is where the word prince comes from. And while I am busy doing what I need to do for you and our posterity, you should be learning so that when the day comes, and the day is now, you will be able to help us. So that when you do get to your throne, you will be competent enough to keep your queendom. Because there are always nations of people out there who are always going to want it, and they're going to test you. They're going to test you. I'll begin with this. What we won't do is go into who you are today. Because what I know is none of it was your fault. I also know this, and I'm going to give it to you, little princess. Because you are from a place does not mean you have to be of that place. This is a big world out here, and it is bigger than your front door. This is a big world out here, and you have a place in it. But before you take your place in the world, you must be prepared. Because a little girl can never sit a throne and hold her nation together. It cannot happen. It has never happened. And it won't happen now. But no pressure. No pressure. I mean, after all, you are the reason I am here. I could not be here were it not for you. The issue these days is you, my daughters, do not know who you are. And you are playing right into the hands of those who would wish doom upon you. And the saddest part of all, you are helping them. You are helping them. Get off of Facebook. Turn that noise that comes from the South off, because that's not rap music anymore. It's not rap music anymore. And let me explain a little of your Moorish science to you about that noise that you take into your body. Yes, you take it into your body. With that uncivilized, decadent noise that you listen to, here is how it affects your physiology. Any of those little rappers from the South, because they all little somebody, little murder, little shithole, you know, they're all little somebody. And they'll be that way because they'll never grow up. But the point is here, my princesses, the point is here, all of the weight will be on you. Because you see, as I know it, if I don't save you, you will save yourself. And so far, for the past 4 or 5 generations, you haven't been doing a very good job of saving yourself. That is why your prince is here. Now, what I know as a bringer of the light, what I know is it's only going to turn out one of 2 ways. When I bring the light, it will either be accepted or rejected. And because each of you, my princesses, you were given a free will by Allah, and you exercise it the way you see fit. But remember this as well, young princesses. When you make those decisions, understand this. You must live with the decisions that you make. That is called being responsible for the things that you do. And you all need to begin practicing that and put it into you. Because remember, there's another generation of princesses coming up behind you. And the question then becomes, what are you going to show them? Are you going to show them that all they're good for is going down on some dude, turning up someplace? Is that what you want for your little sisters? I'm going to advise you of some things, my young princesses. The life that a lot of you are living is not the only way to live. Now, this was said before many years ago, and I'm going to say it now. If you think that your life can be better, join the Moorish Science Temple of America. It is for you and about you. Let me explain further what I mean. That star in the center of Old Glory, your flag is a red flag with a 5-pointed green star right in the middle of it. And I know no one has ever taught you this. But I, as your prince, having a responsibility to you, must inform you of the truth. And the truth is, you are that star. You are that star. That star is you. That star is you. And you are right side up. If you look at the Masonic Eastern Star, it is on its head. They have perverted. They have perverted it. You are that star. And everything is on you. Everything is on you now. I'm going to give you these degrees. And I need for you to pay attention and understand what I am saying. And there is a marked and distinct difference between hearing words and actually listening. I pray you listen. But this is an issue. This is an issue. And when I told you that all of the weight was on you, those were not idle words. Princesses, let's understand some things. When you make a decision and you enforce your will and carry out that decision, there is no one else to hold that weight. That is you. Now let's take a subject that has just run rampant in the Asiatic community. And that is out of obligated births. I have had this discussion on more than a few occasions. And it has taught me a lot of things about the women whom I was engaged with in this conversation. It went something like this, and I'm sure you're all familiar with it. When the subject of young, unwed Asiatic birthers comes up, in conversation with a woman, the first question that she's going to ask is, well, don't the man have some responsibility in it? It's always the first question. And here's my answer. First of all, you insult those of us who are men by calling these little boys men. They're not men. Men don't move that way. We'll start there. Men don't move that way. Those are little boys. They're uneducated. And they are ignorant. They are also, dare I say it, undisciplined. But you bear this in mind, princess. When that question comes up, doesn't a boy have any responsibility? The answer is no. No, he does not. And you cannot use that anymore. It is time, however, for you to take responsibility for your own actions. Because I'm going to tell you why that boy has no responsibility. Number one, you chose him. Yes, you chose him. He was the one that got your panties wet. You knew he wasn't shit when you chose him, but you chose him. You chose him. Number one. Number two, you let him up in you raw. Knowing he wasn't shit, but you let him up in you raw. And he squirted in you. See, you chose to let him up in you raw. Knowing he got 3 other babies, and 3 other baby mamas, you chose to let him up in you raw. 3, you chose to get up knocked up. You chose to tell him that you were pregnant. He chose not to be a parent at this time. You chose, unilaterally, you chose to carry that baby to term. You chose to have that baby and keep it. You chose to consign that child to a life of poverty and nothing but despair and misery. You chose all of these things. All of these things were unilateral decisions that you made. It's called being a grown-up. It's called being a grown-up. Take responsibility for the things you do. Get used to it, princess, because that is what it's going to take in order to be a mother to a nation. You are going to have to be responsible. Now, getting back to this noise that you infect yourselves with. When that crap that comes out of the South, because that's where it all comes from now, because there's no more East Coast, West Coast, you got no more of that. You got garbage coming out of the South. That's all it is, garbage. It's not even music. But at any rate, when you listen to that noise, this is your Moorish science. When you listen to that noise, it lowers your vibratory rate and it raises your vibratory rate. And it does that until it has an actual deleterious effect on you physically. Physically. Vibrations. When you force your ears to accept that noise, it is actually, it's affecting you because it isn't music. Remember, now I know some of you may never have heard this in your life, but it's an adage, and it goes like this. Music hath charms to soothe the savage breast. Meaning, you play the right kind of music, you can calm stuff down. You calm people down. The type of music. And that noise you listen to is not music. What it does is it amps up your dopamine output. That's what it does. That goes on in your brain. It amps up your dopamine output. When that happens, you get euphoric. Some people get more than a little animated. And some people just, well, you've seen them. But at any rate, that noise that you are infecting yourself with is doing damage to you. It's doing damage to you. And if that is what you were subjecting your ears to, you are also subjecting that fetus to. You say your little 3-4-year-old is unruly. You want to send him off to prison. He's so bad. How do you think he got that way? How do you think he got that way? You made him that way. With that noise you infected yourself with, you also infected him. He is simply a product of what you put into him. Take responsibility for it. Now that you know why your little badass 3 or 4-year-old boy is unruly, you did it. By infecting yourself with that noise you call music. Look at him. Does he look as if his savage breast has been, soothed? No, because the school told you to put him on Ritalin. Because he ADHD. You did that to him by infecting yourself with that noise. You did that. And that's your science that explains to you why a lot of these children turn out the way they do. I'm going to give you some more science, just so you know. When a child reaches the age of 3, their personality has already formed. They are who they are going to be for the rest of their lives by the time they reach 3 years old. That's simple psychology, that's growth and development. That's basic stuff. By the time your child is 3, their personality has already formed. And by the time they get 4, you're looking at who they're going to be. You are looking at who they are going to be. Now, princesses, understand this. I am working hard to get you to your throne. It's arduous, and I have no time for me, but I love this work, and I know who it's for and what it's for. It is for you and the next 7 generations. That's who it's for. And as your prince, I owe it to you and to them. People whose names I don't even know, but I know they're coming. Because what was done for us, we owe them no less. We owe them no less. Our ancestors gave us signs in the Constitution for the United States, and that's where our liberties and everything else were guaranteed in the first 7 articles. They did not jack around with that, nor can we afford to jack around with their legacy. Now, princes, this thing that you all seem incapable of doing, which is making correct choices, your prince is going to help you there. When it comes to making choices, or when you find yourself in a position where you have to make a choice, remember this, princess. Remember this. Your first question should always be, is this in my best interest? And if you can't answer right away, then it is something for you to think about. And thinking is key here. And you need to begin thinking. You need to begin thinking. I'm going to tell you this as well. Because of your current actions and images that are all over the world, because the way the world views you, you've got a question to answer. Is that what you want for the next 7 generations? Is that how you want? Do you want them to carry on the way you are? Do you want that to be the legacy you leave for them? Is that the legacy you want to leave for them? Because you see, in order for them to do better, Your Highness, you have got to be better. Then, when you unfuck yourself most ricky-tick, when you do that, then they will be the legacy that you left. Besides, you get to ask yourself, while you are building for them, how do they know they want to be us if they never get to see us? You need to show them your best. You need to start showing them your best and showing them that you're capable of creating thought. Because as you are portrayed and viewed around the world, you don't have a brain in your head, and that is not true. That is not true. But too many of you act this way. And that is not you either. That is not you. So for my daughters, I want for you to focus on something other than yourselves. Begin thinking about that 7 generations that's not here yet, and what you want to leave them. What kind of legacy do you want to leave them? Do you want to leave them the legacy of a bigger people? Or do you want to see them honor the things that you did in order to get them to the place where their legacy actually means something, and they instill in their children all of the ways and methods of keeping it? Those are the questions you need to ask yourself. And if your answer is one whereby you already know what time it is after hearing these words, more power to you. And praise Allah. But if you are contemplating things, Your Highness, you're not ready. You are not ready. This is all about helping you to help yourself. That is part of my job. Because you are not African American, Negro, nothing. You're none of that. You're none of that. You have royal blood coursing through your veins. You have royal blood coursing through your veins. And there is a way for you to help us get you to your throne. It'll be at that point we can rest. The mission is far too important, as are you. As are you. And that is why the future cannot be neglected. And that is why I am not neglecting you, Your Highness. Because as I'm doing my job, you have a job to do too. Your job is to learn from your prince. That is your job. So, my daughters, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and whatever else they want you to do. And my email address is in the description box. And so until then, my daughters, I bid you peace.